The bell sounded, and these players took off their headphones, got up from their seats, the chessboard lifted off the stadium, and these players put the mitts on and started just throwing haymakers. It was literally just like psh, 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 psh. GM Canty went down a couple times. Psh, psh, psh. Russian chess boxer goes down. Psh, psh, psh. What is up, you chess brainiacs? Welcome back to another video on the Force Drive YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the two chess matches that James Canty, also known as GM Canty, played in the recent chess boxing event in Serbia. And these games are actually kind of diabolical. If you didn't know, I was going to say James Canty, but I'm going to call him GM Canty because that's what he usually goes by. GM Canty, when he streams, he's a very popular streamer, he's usually playing bullet chess. So he is a very fast chess player. He plays speed chess all the time. Chess players call 1 minute bullet, they call blitz 3 minutes, and then they call rapid 10 minutes. And he plays 1 minute bullet chess almost 24/7, live streaming it and creating very, very unique content. So with that in mind, he is easily one of the favorites in the chess match. And his opponent, whose name I'm going to completely butcher, Sayan Shayakametov. Shayakametov. I am so sorry. Please correct me in the comments if I said that completely wrong, which I know I did. Anyways, so he is, and I actually did a little research on these two. He is only 1,600 elo FIDE. James Canty, he's a master. He's a chess master. And he, I believe, is 2,200 FIDE, I believe, 2,200 FIDE. And the difference in that is just complete night and day. Like, GM Canty should have no trouble putting him to bed, right? It should be a good, clean game. He should win this game outright very easily, right? But I will say this, Cyan did hold his own for a good majority of the game. And they actually do box in this match. A lot of chess boxing matches actually usually only end in the chess round due to just like a massive rating difference, but he got to the boxing round. And just a little note for you too, chess boxing consists of 11 rounds, usually 11 rounds, and you get 6 rounds of chess, 5 rounds of boxing. And usually it's like 3 minutes chess, then the board lifts, and then you got the boxing arena. And then after that, you do 3 minutes of boxing. And after 3 minutes of boxing, if nobody gets knocked out, you go back to the chessboard and you just keep going. In this game in particular, though, both players started with 4 minutes and 30 seconds on their clock. So I'm assuming they were going a little bit faster, I guess. But the rules still remain the same. After 3 minutes, these two would start throwing haymakers, and it was absolutely brutal. Brutal. So, let's get right into the game. All right, so for this first chess boxing match, which I believe occurred on day 3 of the event, GM Canty will be playing with the black pieces, and Sayan Shayakamatov, I cannot pronounce. I believe he's from Uzbekistan. No, Kazakhstan. It's Kazakhstan. Yeah, Kazakhstan. So, you Kazakhstan people out there, if you watch this at all, I apologize for completely butchering bro's name. Anyways, I'm just going to call him Mr. Kazakhstan. No, I'm going to call him Cyan. All right, so Mr. Cyan opens the game up with d4. GM Canty responds with d6, which is a perk defense. Very, very interesting. I'm assuming he's very, very familiar with this. I'm not too familiar with GM Canty's game, but from what I heard and what I read, perk defense is one of his main openings. And granted, he's a master, so he probably knows every opening in the book, so take that as you will. The game continues with knight c3. Then we get knight f6. Good solid opening. Getting the pieces into the board. I always preach that you want to get your pawns in the middle as soon as possible. Try and control these 4 squares as quickly as possible, and also try and get these pieces into the game as fast as possible too. And Cyan responds with f4, which is still in theory. Mr. GM Canty responds with knight bd7, developing the knight, which is actually a slight inaccuracy apparently. Apparently he needed to go c5. Doop. But he goes there instead. Honestly, don't hate it. And also, he is literally playing moves in less than a second. He is moving the pieces so freaking fast, you can't even keep up with it. White now responds with knight of 3. And he's looking very promising right now as it stands. And keep in mind, too, they have 4 minutes and 30 seconds on their clock. I do not have access to the time control as it stands. But you can get your response with e5. And then we get bishop c4. Bringing the bishop in to create an attack on this diagonal. Then we get h6. d3. c6. Castles, bishop e7. And then f takes on e5. D takes on e5. And white has a very solid advantage here. Very solid advantage. So black's best move here would be to castle, or it says, no, it says bishop e3. Or wait, so, I don't know where I got castled. He's literally castled. All right, bishop e3. Actually, yeah. So right here, instead of bishop a3, he needed to play a4 apparently, which is here, which is diabolical, and he also could have gone king h1 apparently. You just got to play a waiting move here, but very fast-paced time control, and you also have to box after this. 2 gladiators just. So keep that in mind. Anyways, yeah, he does play bishop bishop e3. Then we get a5, a4, queen c7, queen d2. And then GM Canty makes an inaccurate move. And in this position, Cyan has an advantage early. GM Canty has used practically no time in this spot. And what he needs to do is actually sack the bishop here. Because after the king, if the king were to take here, you play knight takes on e5. And it is a discovered attack on the king. So the king will have to move. Now after the king goes here, white's best move here, I'm trying to find it. Take it on g4. Bingo. And you set yourself a queen piece. But that didn't happen. Instead, Mr. Cyan played bishop f2. And that blended the game. And now it is an even position again. So this we get knight takes on f2, one of the best moves on the board. Then we get rook takes f2. He needed to take with the queen there. I believe he needed to take with the queen. The reason being is because now his rooks are not connected anymore. So that's bad. Don't do that. It's bad. Then we get castles. And by the way, we got about, I think it's like right around like 1 minute until it's time to box. We get king h1, sliding the king over. Knight c5. And also, by the way, I know I said this guy was 1600. I literally spent like 30 minutes trying to research this guy, and I genuinely couldn't find very much about him. And on FIDE, it says he's 1600 ELO FIDE. So it's very big disadvantage here, I would say. After knight c5, we get rook af1, slide the rook over. Then we get bishop e6, slide the bishop up to attack his bishop. Pushes the pawn, which is kind of bold. I feel like you should probably, yeah, it says take the bishop here because now you just double his pawns. And that's a little scary for black, but instead he pushes the pawn, and now black does have an advantage again here. Then we get knight takes, or excuse me, bishop takes on c4. D takes back on c4, and now the queen's into the game. So I guess that does make a little bit of sense. I see his idea now, but that is at a cost. GM Canty responds with rook 88, attacking the queen. And the queen is slide forward to e3. 96. And the black plays g3. A catastrophic mistake. For reasons being, as you can see on screen. After the bishop goes here, to c5, you are currently pinning the queen to the rook, and you're going to be up 2 pieces of material, barring what the queen does. So the queen slides back to e2. Bishop takes on f2. Queen takes on f2. Then knight d4. And after this move, the bell bings, and the players exit the chessboard. The chessboard lifts off the platform, and they start throwing haymaker after haymaker, just psh, psh, psh. GM Canty actually almost went down a couple times. I believe he almost got Cyan a couple times too. But they were slinging, slugging. But at the end of the day, after a few cuts and bruises, a few bashes to the face, a few bashes to the temple, a few bruises and marks all over the body, they would end up returning to the chessboard. And Cyan responds with knight takes on d4, which straight up loses the game on the spot. So after e takes d4, attacking the knight, you get knight e2. And by the way, imagine playing a chess game and then having to get punched in the face like 10 plus times. You're probably a little woozy after that, right? A little woozy. Especially, these guys are heavyweights too. I believe it was like a 100 kg fight. Heavyweight bout. So they're putting some meat on those punches. So after this, we get queen e5, sliding the queen forward. Queen f3, and at this point, it's literally just cleanup for GM Canty. Sliding the rook over to e8. Knight slides forward to f4. Queen takes, rook takes. GM Canty just up a clean piece. He's up a clean piece now that he has one pawn. Knight d3, rook e8. King g2, rook e2 check, rook f2, rook takes on f2. King takes on f2. And also, by the way, GM Canty is genuinely trying to make sure this doesn't go back to a boxing match, because he doesn't really want to throw haymakers anymore. So, yeah, that's a thing. But after this, we're going to fast forward a couple of moves here. Sliding the rook forward, king slides forward, pawns are pushing. And at this point, GM Canty, all he has to do is literally just push the pawns forward and win the game in style. Boop, boop. And after knight f2, we get king f4, knight d3 check, king g3, and king e1. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Mr. Cyan ran out of time here, and GM Canty is the winner of this one. And he would go on to the championship match to face off against one of the most notorious Russian chess boxers, probably in the young chess boxing history, I would say. So a very stellar performance by GM Canty. A well-fought and valiant effort by Cyan. He had opportunities, but unfortunately he was not able to capitalize on them. But with that being said, guys, let's check out and see exactly how the final match of the heavyweight chess boxing world championship goes. Let's get into it. All right, and now for the second match of this event for GM Canty. His opponent is a Russian chess player, also chess boxer, obviously. His name is Evgeny Isayev. And if I am completely and utterly butchering that, I apologize as well. But my American tongue is not all up to standard, probably. But anyways, this player is a lot closer to GM Canty in terms of FIDE rating. I could not for the life of me find a profile picture for him to put on screen for you. So instead, I'm actually going to show you this picture. This is what bro looks like. He's just an absolute lean, mean slugging machine. Like, look at this guy. Like, you gonna get in the ring with this guy? Yeah, no, I'm so incredibly good. But this guy's an absolute boss, right? So we're going to pull this off screen. And this chess boxing match is a little bit different. Both of them started with, actually, let me back up a little bit. So this game, on the chess clock, you have 6 minutes each instead of 4 minutes and 30 seconds compared to the previous GM Canty match, right? Same format applies, though. After 3 minutes, they go straight to the boxing ring. And I honestly still don't understand because, like, it says it's 11 rounds, 5 boxing, 6 chess matches, but, like, 3 times 4, which would be 3, 3, 3, 3 on all the clocks, it would only be 4. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just interesting to me. But anyways, let's get right into the game. So GM Canty is playing with the white pieces in this one. His opponent's playing with the black pieces. GM Canty opens the game up with d4, and his opponent responds with d5. Knight c3 is played on the board, followed by knight f6. Bishop f4, moving the bishop forward. And this is the queen's pawn opening Shirin variation, which is kind of interesting. So GM Canty is also moving very, very fast once again. And I'm going to remind you one more time, this guy is literally plays bullet chess for a living. 1 minute chess. So he's moving very, very fast. His opponent responds with c6. Good move. Now we follow this up with e3. Then we get g6. h4. g7. And GM Canty plays h5. A very heroic and actually diabolical move. Just straight up sacking the pawn here on h5. Which is kind of crazy. Alright, so sorry about that. My kitty cat was meowing very profusely and wouldn't be quiet, so I had to lock him in the room. Anyways, GM Canty plays this move, and it's actually diabolical because he's literally just sacking a pawn here. It's kind of crazy. And his opponent doesn't even take here. He goes bishop g4. Apparently the best move was to take this pawn with the knight. But I'm assuming what Mr. Evgeny was thinking here was after he takes, GM Canty might just sack the rook, which is exactly what the best move on the chessboard would have been. And the pawn takes, and now you just have a full V-line coming here towards your king side, and that is pretty freaking scary. So he vouches to not take that pawn here. Instead, he pushes the bishop up to g4, like I just said, and then GM Canty follows this up with f3, attacking the bishop. So that move low-key kind of lost a little bit of tempo. So probably not the best move you want to play there. Ivanji now retreats the bishop back to f5, and this is a critical inaccuracy. Because after g4, you have to move your bishop back again. And GM Canty has so much tempo coming down all 4 of these files. And he's essentially suffocating the black position. There's only so much Mr. Ivanji can do here in this spot. Now, they aren't chess boxing just yet. There is a little bit more time on the clock. After g4, we get bishop g7, queen d2, h6, trying to stop the attack where it stands. H takes on g6, f takes on g6, bishop d3, g5, bishop g6 check, king f8, and then we get bishop e5. And I believe after move 13, if I'm not mistaken, I was looking at my notes there, the bell sounded, and these players took off their headphones, got up from their seats, the chessboard lifted off the stadium, and these players put the mitts on and started just throwing haymakers. And I kid you not, I'm not going to show it on screen because I don't want to get in trouble or anything showing their content, but it was literally just like, GM Canty went down a couple times, got Russian GM, he's not GM, Russian chess boxer goes down, and there was just an absolute feral event in that first round of the chess boxing match. But GM Canty survives, and he's also in a winning position. And they come back to the chessboard, and black now plays bishop e8. I believe that was move 13, right? Yeah, it's move 13. Bishop e8. We get bishop d3. Slide the bishop all the way back, because now the bishop's under attack. You probably want to maintain threats. Also, a fun note for you beginners and younger chess players. If you can keep pieces on the board and have to force your opponent to think more, it's honestly a very valuable strategy if you think about it. Because every time, like we're in the middle game right now, right? This bishop is sniping so many squares. This bishop's sniping here. Bishop's x-raying here. Go back. Then rook is x-raying. There's just so much stuff you have to think about. And the more threats you maintain, the better. Whereas if GM Canty took this bishop here, it wouldn't be a bad move, but it would negate some of the pressure coming down on the king side. So instead of taking the bishop, he vouches to slide the bishop back. And then after the bishop slides back, we get knight b7, followed by bishop g3, b5, a3, a5, knight c2, bishop f7. And GM Canty actually made a mistake here, costing him the position in a very quick fashion. Except that the pawn pushes, the d pawn's going to take, the f pawn's going to take back. Then we get knight takes the pawn on g4. Because by the way, that pawn was hanging after this pawn takes here. There's nothing you can do to stop that. Now Mr. Ivanji is up one piece of material, but the position still has a lot of questions that need to be answered here. So after this we get knight h3, followed by e5. Good move by Ivanji once again. He played two great moves. I believe that, yeah, 2 great moves in a row. Rook f1, pinning the bishop to the king, and after this, black is winning by quite a bit. Ivanji plays the wrong move, sliding the king here. And the reason that's the wrong move is because you need to take the pawn on d4. Because if the knight, you can't take back here. You literally cannot take back here because the bishop's sniping. And after you castle, this pawn is literally glaring. This pawn is literally glaring at everything. And then you can just push the pawns and put all the pressure on the queen side and you're just cooked. White is cooked, completely and utterly cooked in this spot. But instead, he plays king g8. And then we get d5. After this, we get c takes d5. E takes back on d5. Knight df6. Then we get c3. Or excuse me, knight c3. b4. Knight e4. Knight takes on e4. Bishop takes on e4. Knight f6. Bishop f5. And black is very soundly winning in this spot. He's up a clean piece of material to very high-level chess players and chess boxers, but I'm assuming the chess boxing low-key kind of got to GM Canty in this round of the chess. After this, we get bishop takes on, or excuse me, pawn takes on a3, which is a mistake. We get rook takes on a3, queen takes on d5. And if the queen were to take here, the bishop would just take, and then black would just be a ton of material. But when you're down material in this spot, especially GM Canty's case as it stands here, you want to keep as much material on the board as you possibly can. And he does a good job of sliding the rook over to attack the queen now. After this, we get queen c6, sliding the queen out of danger. Knight f2, bishop f8, knight g4, knight takes on g4, bishop takes on g4, queen e4 check. Mevani has completely blundered the position. GM Canty now responds with bishop e2, and the bell sounds once again. And the players take off their headphones, the chessboard lifts up off the boxing arena or boxing mat or whatever. And they put the gloves on and start swinging away. And I kid you not, GM Canty got very, very close to getting knocked out and getting knocked down and getting destroyed. But after having taken a beating, he survives and makes it to the next round of the chess. And the final bit of this chess is actually crazy, because we get bishop h5 being the next move on the chessboard. And that move right there completely and utterly loses the game on the spot. Now you're thinking, the queen's pitting the bishop to the king, so the bishop can't take here, right? Nope. You play rook e3. Slide the rook over. Get the queen off of that pin, and now you can take here. So after this, we get bishop b4. Rook takes on e4. Just a free coin. And GM Canty is just up 7 pieces of material now. Bishop takes on d2 now, taking the queen back, but after a quick exchange, this game is going to be turned on its head. Because after the rook goes here, the bishop takes. And in this position, GM Canty's opponent would resign on move 38. Truly a valiant effort by both of these very strong chess players. But GM Canty proves that chess is bigger than what a lot of people make it out to be. And you can't just go into the ring and start swinging and throwing haymakers. You have to have intelligence, you have to be good on the chessboard, and GM Canty proved that here today. Alrighty guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and tell me what you think of chess boxing. Chess boxing is a brand new thing. I remember a couple years ago seeing Andrea Potes fighting against Dina, I always forget her last name, but Russian Dina. And it's become a very, very prominent sport, and GM Canty is probably the biggest name that has actually stepped into the boxing ring, and he is a big dude. Would you ever box against him? Would you ever do chess boxing? Tell me if you would in the comments down below. And also, if you enjoy chess content, please be sure to subscribe. I post these videos every single day. I think you'll find them very funny and very entertaining and very educational on most or more times than not. And also, we have a chess Discord server where we host chess tournaments, daily checkmates. We do checkmates instead of chess puzzles, a chess dojo, a chess rank system that's going to be dropping here soon, and a bunch of other awesome stuff in a very passionate chess community that I think you would really enjoy if you play chess. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, the link is going to be in the description down below, and all you got to do is click that, hop in, explore the server, introduce yourself, and meet some friends. We have a lot of passionate people on our server, and we'd love to have you. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, please do that. And also, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to check out this video. This video was very fun to make, and I think you will find it very, very interesting. And for the last time, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.